Welcome back to Takeout. U.S. Central Command has confirmed that the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carriers and its strike group have arrived in the Middle East. This coincides with President Trump publicly mulling military action in the region due to civil unrest inside Iran. The commander of Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps warned against the move, saying that his forces have their, quote, fingers on the trigger, unquote. CBS News national security contributor Sam Vinograd joins me now. Sam, always good to have you here. It was discussed about a week ago when the president was contemplating military action that the Israelis sent a signal, don't go yet because you don't have all the things you need in the region. Now it appears we have the things we need in the region. What does that suggest?
Well, these military assets could serve two purposes. In the first instance, they could try to deter the Iranian regime for doing more bad things like violence against protesters and other forms of brutal repression. They could protect U.S. forces if Iran does choose to retaliate after a strike, and they could actually launch a strike against the regime. The Trump administration is playing a lot of different hands here. It's moving its military assets into place. Trump is signaling the door is open to negotiations. There may be covert negotiations underway anyway, and importantly, Major, they're also likely ensuring the safety and security of Americans currently in the region. We saw that Qatar had recommended that U.S. forces draw down at the Al Udeid base. But Iran still has a very advanced intelligence service, cyber capabilities, and it still does have proxy capability in the region. And that puts American lives at risk if the U.S. strikes and Iran strikes back.
I have read, Sam, that it is somewhat problematic for U.S. military strikes in Iran designed to help protesters because unless you dislodge the regime, you might kill protesters inadvertently because you have to attack areas that are not isolated like the nuclear facilities, places that are embedded in high-density population areas within Iran, and the regime might double down on the protesters and its refusal to bend to the great Satan, the rhetoric long used in Iran to refer to the United States.
The U.S. administration has had military operational plans, O plans, for various things against the regime for a long time.
Decades.
Various parts of the U.S. government have been designing and practicing for the range of scenarios here for a very long time. But you raise an important question. What is the purpose of another U.S. strike? We have seen the Trump administration strike to stop Iran's support for terrorism. We have seen the Trump administration strike to curtail Iran's nuclear program. So what ultimately is the purpose of another strike? Is it to dislodge the regime? If that is the case, a military strike may not be the best option. Covert action, some other form of operation may be better suited to targeted attacks to take out the top tier of the Iranian regime. So I would imagine those O plans, those operational plans for military strikes, covert action, and more are being actively refreshed.
And there's conversations. President Trump posted something even today about the future leadership of Iraq. There are lots of destabilizing things going on in Syria. The conversations between the president and the new leader of Syria continue, but that doesn't seem all the way stabilized. These things play into all these calculations, do they not?
They sure do, but Iran does hold a special place for the Trump administration and for American national security. Iran is the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism. Iran has continued its march towards a nuclear weapon until the recent strike, and the regime just murdered thousands of people. And so the reasons for striking Iran are certainly there. There are other options as well. At the same time, Iran is facing this pressure internally. It's facing external pressure, Major. It has been degraded in terms of its proxy capabilities in places like Iraq, in places like Syria, in places like Lebanon. So the regime certainly feels cornered, and that leads really to a difficult situation for all actors involved.
Tough question to answer, but I ask it anyway. What should we look for in the next couple, 3 days?
We should look for the military assets actually moving into position and firing range. They are currently in the CENTCOM area of responsibility. They're making their way to their desired destination. And what we should really look for is a U.S. government warning citizens to leave, moving embassy and other military personnel out of the region, airlines canceling flights, another notice to airmen that private aircraft should not fly over parts of the Middle East. Those are, to me, trigger points that something is coming.
Sam Vinograd, great stuff as
Thanks.
always. Thank you so very much.